Okay, so once again, psychopathology, choosing to believe that something is possible after they can see that it is not possible for some reason. Okay, that's psychopathology. Meanwhile, these variables are very important. See, after they can see it is not possible for some reason. See, like, if circumstances were different, would this be possible? But yet, if we don't have the circumstances, it's not possible. Okay, so, I mean, thinking through and writing about, possibility, what is possible, what is not possible, and why it's possible and or not possible is very good for your mind. It's very good for mental health. Scientifically thinking about why things are possible and why things are not possible is very important. It's very good for mental health. And okay. When considering this, how is it that someone can choose to believe that something is possible after they can see that it is not possible for some reason? I mean, what is it that makes someone, want to believe in a possibility when it's not possible? One may need to consider multiple lifetimes in order to understand how someone may just choose to believe that in a possibility that something is possible when it is not. I mean, there are scenarios to consider. One may want to consider, is there more than one lifetime? And is this a reason why people may become psychopathic? It is. We're going to consider that we have lifetimes forevermore. Once a being originates, a being has lifetimes forevermore. Okay, so when considering eons and archons of the past, see, an eon is where we have peace and harmony and everything, and an archon is when governments are cracked, families are cracked, etc., etc. In past eons and archons, who was I? What were the circumstances then? I mean, circumstances change over time. They're different than they once were. So understanding and learning about these variables is very, very important. We're going to I'm just going to go ahead and mention that long, long ago, we could turn back these pages, and eons and archons, long, long ago, our family, our great family, okay? This isn't just one biological family unit of mom, dad, and kids, children. This is our great, 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 great family. And what have we been through already? See, long, long ago, it could be we were a part of a population group that was newer and did not have skills and expertise in categories. And it could be that long, long ago, we did have great stages where we lacked spiritual wisdom. We see, okay, once a being originates and has lifetimes forevermore, it may become one's observation that another being somehow can remember each of their past lifetimes. See, how was my spiritual head during all these many, many millennia? See, do I have, if I have a lifetime here and I only have vague memories of previous past lifetimes, I may want to consider that I need to develop my spiritual head. I need to develop my head so that I remember every past life I've ever had since I originated. And I can even have in perspective how I originated. That's one's own spiritual head, one's own spiritual mind that is a part of one's head, okay? So if you are somebody who cannot remember every past life you've ever had, you may want to consider that there's something going on with your spiritual head that you need to improve. Okay, now being observant as to why, and writing in your journal about as to why you don't have in perspective how you originated is very good for your mental health. I mean, if we seem to be growing up with, somehow we have these beliefs that we need to sort through scientifically, and it is very, very good to do things that are good for your mind. Okay, so when over all the many millennia since one originates, over all the many millennia forevermore, one needs to do what is good for their own head, so that they, in every lifetime, one can remember. Once a being originates, one naturally wants to do what is good for one's mind, so that they can remember. You know, if there's any problem or qualm with how your lifetime is, see, I notice that I'm miserable. I notice that things are just, could be better. Is there a category that can improve? Why is it that I don't have in perspective how things can be better? And why things aren't as good as they can be? See, I notice that I'm miserable and I'm struggling, and there's things, you know, going on, and I may be interested in doing things that are good for my mind, things that will improve my spiritual head, you know, so I could have things in perspective. Okay. I'm going to put it on pause. All right, so we're going to look at a case, because this case is at hand right now. I mean, I mentioned Bill Cosby and the Fat Albert entourage, and how these are real people symbolized by fictitious characters. Okay, and Bill Cosby also lets us know I am real. Okay. Okay. Eons and archons ago, we went through stages, great stages, where we lacked spiritual wisdom. And we had circumstances where people were losing their heart, their spiritual heart, before their spiritual head. I mentioned in a previous video, it's wise. If we're having an archon where we're needing evil to fail, it is wise to lock circumstances so that one loses their head before their heart. Okay, this is your spiritual head. This is your spiritual heart. Long ago, we did have eons and archons in great stages where we lacked the spiritual wisdom, and the Fat Albert entourage was a part of such circumstances. See, we were going around and disabling our spiritual heads, our spiritual minds, and we were not doing it wisely. So, you know, we had circumstances where, you know, Dorothy was skipping along the yellow brick road, and the Tin Man was along her way first. It wasn't the Scarecrow, it was the Tin Man. See, when that happened, that archon, let's just point at this archon, that archon became more threatening. There was a greater threat because we were not as wise. This archon, there were many more problems that lasted for a long, great stage because we were not spiritually wise enough. So this entourage has this past life meaning. Okay, so when this once was a possibility, however, if it's not a possibility anymore, because for some reason, it's very, very important to acknowledge that. Okay, if circumstances were different, this yet would be a possibility. But if we don't have these circumstances, it's not a possibility.